That controller can only mean one thing. We're gonna be playing the Atari 2600 Junior. And today we're gonna be taking a look at some Xenix cartridges that we acquired here at Gaming Police Empire. And we have acquired a total of 4 double-ender Xenix cartridges. Let's take a look at these cartridges. And we have a total of 4 double-ender cartridges. And just in case you're wondering what a double-ender cartridge looks like, it's kind of crazy looking. Let's have a comparison right here between a normal game on Atari and a double-ender. You have basically 2 games in one cartridge, and you can plug it into either side of the cartridge in order to play the games. It's quite interesting. Look at that. Now, Xenix was actually quite popular for making these double-ender cartridges back in the 1980s. They made games for the Atari 2600, ColecoVision, and the Commodore 64, and the VIC-20. Unfortunately, during the video game crash in 1983, Xenix actually folded, and they were no longer a company, a developer, or a publisher. And just in case you're wondering what the video game crash of 1983 was, it was a huge tragedy. You see, the 3 main developers who were well received by the Atari 2600 was Activision, Atari themselves, and Mattel. They made pretty good games most of the time. But by the time 1982 came along, there was a whole bunch of different developers, and there was tons of bad games coming out. Now, that game E.T. right there always gets the bad rep. But I tell you what, there's a lot more worse games than that. Imagine playing this game, I Want My Mommy, made by ZMag. And ZMag no longer existed after the 1983 crash either. And I wonder why. Who the hell wants to play that? The video game industry was so oversaturated with bad games during that time. And there was plenty of consoles out too. You had Intellivision, ColecoVision, you had a lot of stuff coming out. I mean, at one point, stores were practically trying to give games away. I mean, look at this. I mean, who the hell wants to play Chase the Chuck Wagon, a game that was funded by Purina, and it's about a dog eating dog food? Who the hell? What is this? Oh, let's not forget about all those weird adult games that came out in the 2600, especially the ones released by Mystique. I mean, those games right there were just a real shit stain on the whole video game industry during that time. Oh yeah, let's play Porno Pong. Now, there was probably about 8 double-ender cartridges that released on the 2600. I currently only have 4 double-enders. There is quite a few of them that are pretty hard to get hold of. Let's take a look at what we have here. Alright, the first double-ender that we have here is the Ghost Manor and Spike's Peak cartridge, which is labeled as 6210. That's the number that it has on the cartridge. Now, during the testing of this cartridge, we tested out Ghost Manor first, and it appears that the cartridge actually works pretty well. So we popped in Ghost Manor and it turned on right away. Look at that. Now, secondly, we tried out Spike Peak, which was on the other side of the cartridge. Kind of strange. We plugged it in and tested it out, and it worked perfectly fine. Now, the second cartridge that we have here is Spike Peaks and Artillery Duel all on one cartridge. I mean, check this out. This cartridge has a number of 7210, which I guess is the code for which cartridge this is for Xenix. And we're going to try out Spike Peak first, which was previously on the other cartridge. But this double-ender actually has that game once again. And yeah, once again, this game works perfectly fine. Check that out. Now, the next game on the cartridge is Artillery Duel. Let's check this game out and see if it works. Yeah, and so far we're having pretty good luck here. That game actually works perfectly fine. Now, the next game that we acquired was Chuck Norris and Artillery Duel on the same cartridge. 2 games in one. So let's check out Artillery Duel. We actually just tested that game out on the previous cartridge. Let's plug it in, and this cartridge is labeled as 6230, by the way, and it appears that it works fine as well. It pretty much runs exactly the same as the previous cartridge. It's pretty good. Now let's flip it around, let's have some Chuck Norris action here, let's kick some ass. Let's plug this game in, and yeah, look at that. That actually works perfectly fine. Check that little Atari rendition of Chuck Norris right there, that is pretty awesome. I'm gonna have to check this game out. And last but not least, we got a very, very curious cartridge right here. This cartridge was imported from Germany, and as far as I know, this was only released in America or North America. So I'm not exactly sure. I guess there may be a European version of this cartridge, but as far as I know, 6220 is an American cartridge. So it's kind of confusing to me. And there's not too many of these cartridges that exist. This is actually quite the rare gem right here. It's Robin Hood and Sir Lancelot. Now, the very strange thing about this cartridge, it has a weird hole over on the side of the cartridge, and it has 4 screws that are exposed from the other side of the label right here. You can see that right there. So it appears that someone actually took this apart at one time. I'm not sure what's going on here, but it's quite interesting. Yeah, once again, I don't believe that there was a PAL version of this game, but who knows? There probably might have been. According to Atari Age's database, there was only a North American version of this game, and 6220 was the North American version. So let's pop in Robin Hood and let's see if we get anything here. And yeah, look at that. That's definitely looking kind of European to me. It does not agree with my North American TV whatsoever. Look at that. That is very, very interesting. I never knew that this game came out in Europe. Look at that. So yeah, that's what a European Atari game looks like on a North American TV right there. Flat screen. It looks like craziness. Look at that. So let's try the Sir Lancelot game right here. And let's plug it in. And yeah, I mean, once again, we're getting the same exact European reception on a North American TV. It's like all hell's broken loose, and there's crazy interlaced lines and all kinds of crazy stuff going on here. Look at that. That is insane. So just for the hell of it, I decided, you know what, let's take this cartridge apart. The screws are already exposed, so why not? So you can see here, I grabbed my screwdriver, set up the camera, and let's see what we got inside here. We're taking the screws off right here. So once we got inside the cartridge right here, it appears that there is 2 little circuit boards. So that's basically what the cartridge is right there. And upon closer inspection, both of these boards appear to be PAL, which is really weird. Is that .6220 was North American region version of this game. And even on the eBay actual site itself, they actually listed that it could possibly be North American. So I basically imported it back from Germany because I thought they imported it from North America. But it turns out that this is both PAL carts inside this cartridge. That's a really weird mystery right there. And another interesting thing about this is maybe there was a quite possibly single cartridges released of both of these games in Europe. I'm not sure, but maybe they put them inside the double ender cartridge. I mean, this is definitely really interesting. If you guys have any idea about this game, go ahead and comment below and let me know what you think. This is really, really cool. If you enjoyed this episode of Memory Lane, give me a thumbs up and yeah, let me know what you think down below. Don't forget to comment. And yeah, stay tuned for next week's episode of Memory Lane.